What's up, guys? It's me again. I said I'd do a video on sorceresses, so here it is. I'm gonna be doing setting up the D2NT to run with a sorceress, and also going over some pros and cons for specifically MeteOrb sorceresses versus light sorceresses, and all that stuff. So. Yeah, in the background here I've just got my bot. It's actually a MeteOrb sorceress. She's running hell. And one of the big reasons that I decided to go with a MeteOrb was the fact that their MF is significantly higher than a lightning source if if you want like the same killing efficiency. For example, in order to break all the immunes, like in Hell, you'll notice you run into a lot of monsters that still have immunity, even though you have your Merc with Infinity. And the way that you have to break them is with facets, those 5/5 lightning die or level facets. And those are expensive, and they also take up an inventory slot, or a socket rather, where you could have an ist rune. So, I mean, there you go right there. A bunch of MF you're losing. Also, I've noticed that a lot of lightning sorceresses have to switch the Oculus for Nistudas and their Shaco for a Griffin's Eye. So right there, that's another, what, like 100 MF that you're losing. On top of, if you want to throw a facet into each of those, that's another 50. So right off the bat, 150 MF lost just so that you can kill immunes without having to use your Merc. So that's one of the big reasons that I really like the MeteOrber, is that if you run into something that's immune to fire, then you just use your orb. If you run into cold immunes, you just use fire, and if you run into a fire and cold immune, your Merc can usually take them down. Another problem that I found with the Lightning Sorceress was a lot of times when I was botting, I would run into a lightning immune, and my Sorceress would like teleport right on top of it and start casting lightning at it. And it wouldn't do any damage, obviously, and my mercenary would be preoccupied with all of the other monsters around, and this lightning immune unique monster would just sit there hammering on me until I died, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. Or, you know, hammering on me until I got down to such low life that I would have to pop a full rejuve, and then eventually I'd run out of full rejuves and have to chicken the game, and it was just a pain in the ass. So there's another big plus for the MeteOrbs, is that all of their moves are AoE. So if you end up running into that problem where there's an immune standing right in front of you, then your AoE attacks will kill all the monsters around it, so that your Merc will, after a couple of seconds, just start focusing on that immune. Another big thing was the faster cast rate. The fact that your faster cast rate is slowed down when you use lightning, and that I didn't really like that. I like the fact that as a MeteOrber, you can really just blast those fireballs out there and fucking rain hell, and it works a lot better for me. I like that faster cast rate. It's always impressive. And speaking of faster cast rate, that all kind of relates to damage as well. In the same gear, I actually went out and got a token and switched to lightning. That's kind of how I found all this out. I was like, yeah, I got my infinity, whoop-de-doo, and then I went out and I switched to lightning, and I realized that my lightning sorceress in the same gear with infinity, instead of insight that I was rolling with before, had about the same killing speed as my MeteOrber had with insight. So I was like, why the hell would I ever decide to go with lightning? It's like it's you spend a bunch of high runes to make an infinity, and then you realize that it's not much of a difference. So I just switched back to MeteOrb with the infinity, and it's fucking badass. But yeah, back to what I was saying before. The damage is almost the same as when it gets down to it. With a I think I had like 9k fireball damage, and in the same or like 9.5 or 10. But in the same gear, my lightning was like 1 to 22,000 or something like that, which averages out to 11k. So really, you're only gaining like a couple thousand damage, and in the grand scheme of things, the difference between 9 or 10k and 11k is really not that much. So another reason I decided to roll with a MeteOrb. And lastly, they're fun as hell to go into PvP with. Even though they're probably not the strongest build, it's just really funny to see people, you throw a frozen orb at them, and it almost definitely is going to hit them, and you can just kind of teleport around throwing those down constantly, and then finally, when you get them down low enough, you just start spamming fireballs everywhere, which hit really, really hard, and then before you know it, they're dead. It's actually really effective, and I think it's kind of an underrated PvP build. It's pretty badass. If any of you guys want to go out and try it, just trust me. Go take your lightning source and take off their Astutas and put on an Oculus, and take off their Griffins and put on a Shaco, and just check it out. Just try out your MeteOrb. They're a pretty fun build. The next part of this, I'm just going to tell you guys real quick how to configure D2NT to run with a Sorceress instead of a Paladin. The last video that I did was for Paladins, but it's almost exactly the same except for a few minor differences, which I'll go over right now. When you open up ntconfig _ sorceress _ your character's name, it looks exactly the same as the Paladin one in my other video. So if you need to know how to configure that, just go check out my other video. If you already know, then just go and configure it the way you need it. The only difference is that if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see right about in the middle is attack configuration, and they have attack 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And really, the only difference between this one and the Paladin is the numbers that you put in there, where it says nt config _ attack skill (1) equals 0, it should say. And where it says that, right next to it, primary skill to boss, to figure out which number to put into there, just go to your D2NT folder, and instead of going to scripts, go to SDK and open that up. And inside that folder, there's a file, a text document called skills. Just open skills, and inside there you'll see it just has every skill in the game with a little number next to it. And the sorceress skills are, let's see if I can get a range here. It looks like 36 up through 65, and all you do is take the number to the skill that you want. For example, fireball, it's 47, and just punch it into whichever skill slot you need. Primary skill to boss, untimed skill to boss. For a MeteOrb, it's going to be you're going to want to put your primary skill to boss as 56, untimed skill to 47, skill to others as 47, and secondary skill, in case the monster's immune, to 64. And the very last difference is that at the very bottom, instead of having redemption, it just has static. And I don't even use static, to be honest. It's kind of useless with the unless maybe you're going to be running Bale and Diablo, but I haven't gotten my bot to be able to do those yet without chickening like 5 times in a row and then managing to do it once. So yeah, there you go. That's everything you need to know, basically. that item video will be coming out soon. It's just a really, really in-depth video. There's a lot of shit that I would have to do beforehand just to kind of show you guys if you haven't figured it out already. So I'll get around to that at some point, don't worry, but for now, hopefully this tides you over. Have fun, safe botting, and remember, once again, botting in Diablo 2 could get you banned. I actually have gotten temporarily banned a couple of times since botting, and I just wanted to remind you guys, it is against the rules, so I don't take any responsibility for any of you guys getting banned for using this program. And once again, have fun and good luck. But not to